Greetings, guys. My name is Benedict, and I'm the president at Gold Forex. So, I just wanted to do a follow-up video on our tick boom strategy. This video will be specifically focusing on our losing trades and how to actually recover from those losing trades. Because now our strategy, the tick boom strategy, actually has a, let's say, 80% win rate, but we do have some losing trades. Now, in those losing trades, I actually just wanted to show you that initially we don't have to have any losing trades, simply because we have a very strong recovery system or loss recovery system that actually manages to keep us at a 90% win rate with this strategy. Now, for those that don't believe me, I would just like to show you how to apply this strategy and how we actually came about this strategy being at a 90% win rate. For those of you that are new, please, I advise you guys to actually watch the first video regarding the actual strategy. We did mention the loss recovery system also in that video. So, but today on this video, we just want to focus on the strategy specifically on how to actually recover your money from any of the losing trades that you might have incurred. And for the old members that do know how well this strategy does and that are making tremendous profits, I just wanted to give you guys a better explanation on how to actually capitalize to the extreme, how to actually milk gold out of everything that it has and doing it on a consistent basis, entering without any fear and keeping your management rules also intact, but at the same time very high, meaning you'll be able to actually achieve higher results than you are right now, because I am able to actually risk anything from 20% to 50% on a single trade using this strategy, knowing that even if I lose any particular trade, I'm actually able to recover almost immediately or on the previous or on the following day. So I'm just going to show you what happens when you actually lose a trade and how you can actually capitalize on it. We're going to be going through the charts, trying to find where we could have actually lost the trade. I haven't pinpointed exactly where we could have lost trades here, but we're going to be going through the charts just to find them. And then I actually found one in this area here, which I'm going to explain to you shortly. So let's get into it, guys. So our strategy, tick boom strategy, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit just so that we can focus on the specific area. Our tick boom strategy simply entails that we have to find our high and low of the day. So now our high and low of the day normally, in most cases, in fact all the time, appears at our 3 o'clock candle and closes at 4 o'clock, which will be your second candle from your period separator. So meaning every day 2 candles after your period separator, because the market opens up at 1 o'clock. So meaning that will actually make it 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Basically waiting for that second candle that opens at 3. I know here it says 2 o'clock, but it actually opens at 3 o'clock and closes at 4 o'clock. So that is the candle that we are specifically waiting for. So now this is our candle that sets the high and low of the day for gold. So now I'm going to mark those with the horizontal line. As you can see here, I already marked them. So I'm going to, once I've marked these horizontal lines, my high and my low of the day, I'm specifically waiting for a candle to close outside either one of these lines. So meaning I'm waiting for a candle to close. Unlike this one, this is not a close. The market did break below, but it did not close. It actually closed exactly at the low. So meaning it did went down and then it retraced and then it closed there. This is a doji, which signifies a reversal pattern. But in most cases, the strategy works whether there's a doji or a railroad tracks or any particular candle. So meaning sometimes you might get that the previous candles had pins and stuff like that, but it still works, and then the market just breaks below. So particularly, you just have to follow the system, whether you think it's going to work out or not. If it doesn't work out, here's how you actually be able to recover your money. So now, once this candle closed, or a candle has closed, like this one here, this is a clear body which has closed outside the low of the day that I've marked with this horizontal line here. So that means we just simply enter our sell trade here. So now, if you are risking, well, from the moment you enter your trade, you have to calculate the number of pips from your entry to your stop loss. Now in this case is 27 pips, 28 pips. So meaning, if you are risking 28 pips, you should be aiming to get 56 pips. Meaning we are using a 2-to-1 risk reward all the time. So we basically just wait until our take profit is hit. But in cases where it did not hit, as you can see, this candle actually only moved 6 pips before it actually closed at negative 3 pips, 4 pips, and then it started moving up. And then here's the part where you have to now focus. Once it hits your stop loss, it's not the end of the day. This simply means the market is now giving you another opportunity to enter the market, but in the opposite direction. That is how you apply the loss recovery system. For those of you who watched the first video, we did make a couple of examples over the past few weeks, about 6 weeks, whereby we identified areas whereby we would have lost trades and how we would have actually recovered from those trades. So I'm just going to be taking you guys a bit through that process for those that did not understand in the first video. So now I did explain that once your stop loss is hit, you don't end the day and take your loss for the day. You wait patiently for another candle to break outside your range, your high and low for the day. Because we got stopped out on the high, we would have had to wait for specifically a candle. Now in this case it was this first candle that stopped us out, that actually closed above our high of the day. So now, once that one has closed, it simply fulfills our criteria for trading the tick boom, which is you mark your high and low, and then you wait for a candle close above or below your range, your high and low of the day. Once that happens, you take your trade. So in this case, from our entry from this candle's close, as you can see, it's above the high there. From this candle's close to our stop loss. Our stop loss, if you're buying, then it should be at the bottom, meaning at your low of the day. So our stop loss is 56 pips. Oh no, not 56, 36 pips. Including the 30 pips that we, what is it, 28 pips. Which lost 28 pips. So now this time you're risking 36 pips. So basically, if we had to win this trade, we would have covered for the losses that we would have made. So now, if I'm taking this trade and I'm risking 36 pips, it means that I'm supposed to be looking to gain 76 pips. So now let's see how that played out. 76 pips, not yet. The market actually moved up to 130 pips, but it closed at 97 pips there. So that simply means you could have reached your target. So meaning you covered for the 30 pips, 28 pips that you lost on your first trade, and you actually now in profit of 60-70 pips. This is how you actually utilize the loss strategy. So now let's try and find another losing trade. I'm just gonna take this cursor here. Here's my high, here's my low. It seems like a good one as well. Yes, it's a very good one. It's a very good one. Huh? Let me just mark that so that Alright, so as you said, we marked the high and low of the second candle after the period separator, which will be 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock candle, which closed. So, and then we wait for a candle to close outside those two horizontal lines. In this case, we had a clear close there. We took our sell position. Our risk was 28 pips. Is it the same one that we know? It's not the same. Our risk is also 28 pips, yeah? The market moved 18 pips before it actually reversed. So I was risking 28 pips. I was looking to catch 56 pips. It did not give us that. So, and then we eventually got stopped out. Now, this simply means we got stopped out here. Now we're waiting patiently to get a candle close outside of our range, or where we actually got stopped out. So now here's our first candle that actually stopped us out, and then it closed outside the range. So meaning this is where I actually place my buy order. I'm risking 32 pips, basically 32 pips. So which is actually higher than the 28 pips that I lost. So now it means I'm actually looking to gain 64 pips. Out of that 64 pips, if I take out 28 pips, it means I would have about 30 pips profit. I'll still be profitable for the day. So now let's see if we actually got the 64 pips. Here's our 64 pips somewhere around here. Our 64 pips is somewhere around here. Yes. And look at that. It also goes into the next day's which is quite nice. So we enter our trade and we actually hold it until we reach our target. And we would have caught our reached our target. So meaning we are profitable. We recovered the loss that we made on this particular sell trade. Alright, let's see if you can find another one. I hope you guys can understand this and utilize it effectively, because it's really not that difficult. It's just simply applying the strategy, the tick boom strategy again, but in the opposite direction. So let's just see, get stopped out. How much were we risking here? How much were we risking here? Oh, this is one trade that I actually took, and this was one of my favorite trades last week. We managed to actually, lost, I had set up a $3,000 account and lost the first trade, and after this setup happened, actually ended up making $11,000 profit. So it was one of my favorite trades so far. So now, looking at this, here's our high and low. So here's our first trade, entry, buy entry, because it closed above our high. So my risk was 37 pips, meaning I was looking to gain 60 or 74 pips. So I did not get it. The market did not reach my target before it actually gave us this long candle here, which stopped us out. So meaning I actually lost that 37 pips. But as I said before, we wait for a candle to close above our high and low. So in this case, this candle that actually stopped us out, it did not close below. If it had closed below, then it means we would have actually entered a sell trade and put our stop loss at the high here. But in this case, it actually spiked, closed in inside our range, and then actually closed. The next candle closed above our range there. So this was my buy entry here. I was risking 35 pips. I actually went in very heavy because I could identify this was actually a sell trap move. We call it a sell trap move, a seller's trap move here, whereby the market just drops and spikes up, and then it starts moving in the original direction again. This is just to actually take out all the stops that were taking this whole move here. So now my entry was in this area here. A buy entry. I was risking 35 pips, so meaning I was looking to gain 70 pips from this. So now let's see if you got, even got 100 pips. I didn't have any particular take profit here. I just let it do its thing, but I actually got out on this candle, this next candle here, this next red candle here. So I did catch this 100 pips here, which was very very nice. I really enjoyed this trade, and as you can see, our loss recovery system actually works perfectly. I'll show you one day that I identified, particularly in this week, where I actually identified where that trade recovery system actually failed. But it did not fail because it doesn't have any significance. Simply failed because the market actually started ranging on Friday. So meaning there's a lot of undecisiveness, and it's basically the market is at a reset. So from this coming week, we do expect the market will make a very long and extended move in whichever direction that it picks. So we'll just be looking to catch in those moves, and then we'll hold it out probably 2 or 3 days and see if we can catch a bit more than just 50 pips this week on using the tick tick boom strategy on Monday or Tuesday. So let me just see if this one failed. Wait. Seems like it did. Yeah. If it did fail, here's our first buy candle. The market moved 20 pips. Okay. My risk was 35 pips. So meaning I was looking to gain 70 pips. It only moved 20 pips, which was actually not satisfying. So now we got stopped out right here eventually, and immediately after we get stopped out, we wait for a candle to close outside your high and low for the day. Now for this particular day, after we got stopped out, there was no candle that actually closed above or below our range. So it actually moved into the next day. Now the next day, we still keeping yesterday's range, but also identifying the present day's range as well, which is here. Here's my high and here's my low. We're looking for a close below, and we had a close below. So now, from this candle here, where it actually closed below today's range, we are risking 228 pips. So now, how many pips did we lose yesterday? 35 pips. So meaning we are looking to gain 50 pips, basically, because we're still trying to recover from yesterday's loss as well. So we're looking for 50 pips, and then we're also risking 27 pips here. So basically our target is I'd say 50 pips or 55 pips. Yes, 55 pips. So let's see if we got that 55 pips here. We did. Actually moved down to 74 pips, but we would have taken our 55 pips somewhere around in this area within a space of just 2 hours. So this is quite interesting here. In fact, even if we entered on this candle here, remember if we are using this one, because this last horizontal line is based on yesterday's low, because we are still trying to recover from that 35 pips that we lost yesterday. Even if we use this candle here, because this is the last candle that actually closed outside yesterday's low, we still would have caught that 35 pips that we lost yesterday. So you can see it actually moved up 50 pips, 55 pips from this entry, if you did not take this entry here. So now, this was a very big range, too big. Our maximum range in terms of the high and low of the day should not exceed 50 pips. Literally should not exceed 50 pips, because 50 pips is actually quite a lot unless you're actually trading the 4-hour trading strategy, tick boom 4-hour strategy. But this one was already 62 pips, so this was out of our criteria. So meaning, even if it was a very good trade and you saw it as a very convincing trade, meaning that possibly you could identify this was a double top. We had a nice top here, and then this was a double top which rejected with a very strong engulfing candle, and you decided you're gonna take this trade. I still think it would have been good for a very long time. Look at this, the market dropped literally the whole day. If you're risking 65 pips, so meaning you're looking to gain 120 pips if you did take this trade. There's your 130 pips. In fact, it moved up and would have actually met your target there if you held it throughout the whole day, which was a very strong. Look at that candle there. That is a very strong candle there. So let's just see. Okay, with particularly we said the last time in the previous video that if your OO candle is smaller than your previous candle, then you are looking to actually use the previous candle's range, meaning the previous candle's high and low, as your entry, as your net high and low for the day. So I would have used this candle here as the high and low, because this one, as you can see, had I actually used this range here, I would have lost this trade remarkably. Even the recovery system would have actually failed remarkably. Look at that, because had I taken this sell here, based on the fact that it actually closed outside my low, I would have gotten stopped out at 16 pips. And had I taken a buy based on my trade loss recovery system, I would have also lost, because look at that spike there. It would have lost another 30 pips, 27 pips. So it's not good to actually trade such patterns. So meaning it's best to actually use the previous candle's range to protect yourself from such disasters here, where the market actually starts ranging and then you get stopped out really quickly. So with this one, had I taken this one as my range, I would have actually made some good profits, because here's my first close above the horizontal line, the high of the day, and I was risking 45 pips, which is within my criteria. I'm looking to gain 90 pips. Didn't get it here before the market actually started retracing. But the following day, I actually got it cleanly and straight, which also we could have actually entered another trade or sell or buy order at the high. Oh man, I forgot about this. Here's my high. Where's my low? Here's my high for the day, and then here's my first close above the high. My risk is 28 pips. I'm looking to get 56 pips. Did I get it? Yep, just about got it. So now I'm looking for losing trades, guys. Sorry, I'm looking for this is probably a very good one. Yes, I like this one. Our loss recovery system. Alright, so have we taken a sell here? From there to there, it's 40 pips. From our entry to our stop loss is 40 pips. So meaning we are looking to gain 80 pips, of which we did not get, because immediately in the next candle the market started reversing. So we wait for a candle. After we get stopped out, we wait for a candle to close above, and here's our first candle that actually closed above where we had placed our first stop loss. So now my risk 30 pips, which is smaller than my loss for the first time. So I'm just going to use the number of pips of my loss that I took, which is 40 pips. So I'm still going to be looking to actually gain 40 to 80 pips. So now in this case, let's see if you got your 40 pips. Close to 40 pips, close to, oh, there it is. There's your 40 pips there. And you still held on to that trade, you would have received your 80 pips. Clean. Here's another example of that range I was talking about. If you have a candle that's inside the range of the previous candle, you just use the previous candle's range. And as you can see, we had a very strong sideways movement here, and a very long one where the market was actually trying to break above, but it failed to close above. It gave us some reversal indications here, but possibly most people would have actually just wanted to trade the system and leave all these pin bars and reversal candles before they actually take a trade. And then the market did come down, but it did not stay down. See, because it closed immediately at the low of the day, and then it started to move up again. Oh, in fact, here's my first buy entry, and then my stop loss is at 39 pips, meaning I'm looking to gain 78, 39, 78. no, not 78. Basically just 80 pips. Let's just say 80 pips. From my entry, 80 pips. Did we catch our 80 pips? Yes, we did. We did catch our 80 pips. Now remember, every day has its own range. But if you still have a trade running from the previous day, I suggest you also leave it on and hold it until it actually reaches its take profit. So now, just basically moving with the market or the initial trend of gold. So now here's our second candle. We did not have any significant close. This one did try, but it was not quite. But here's a good and clear close above. So we enter our buy. My risk is 79 pips. So meaning we are looking to get 160 pips. There's our 160 pips, as you can see. So now, I hope you guys find this strategy very useful for you guys, and I hope you'll be able to actually utilize our loss recovery system to your advantage, and actually to use it to actually gain the type of result that you want, and actually gain back the money that you've lost using the tick tick boom strategy. So let's see. I wanted to actually show you where it actually also failed. Yeah, we had range. We had a close below. Market only moved about 20 pips, 26 pips. Our risk was 26 pips. We are looking to get 50, 60 pips. So we did not get that here, and our trade recovery system says we had to wait for a candle to close outside our range. So now it did not close here, and it came back and actually closed below. So now we lost 26 pips there, and our risk now is 27 pips, basically the same as the first as our first risk. So now we're actually looking to catch about 50 pips. So now our 50 pip target will be around somewhere here, below here. Currently it has not dropped, but it does show some signs of dropping very soon. So we'll be expecting for Monday's 00 to go into a downwards motion to actually go there. So far it has not worked. It has not worked so far. So we're actually just waiting for it to start dropping lower. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are able to utilize this strategy effectively, more especially if you have some particular losing trades. So never risk more than 10% of your account in case that you do have some losing trades there, so that you'll be so that you will always be able to recover from those losses on our next trade. So we don't want you growing account, we just want you growing account exponentially. So particularly you might get a few losing trades every now and then, not always, but once you do get a losing trade, just know that it's not the end of the day. Your day is basically just starting, because now there's still some more money to be made and some more money to be recovered. So we just want you to always stay profitable and always growing your account. So I thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys continue making money with us.